Books on Tape presents Wolf's Bane by Tara K. Harper. Read by Karen White. Chapter 1. In the night, the roads are different. The roots stretch out like white-skinned arms. The moons are eyes that do not blink. The air is thick with sounds that gather silently to watch you pass. And you kick your new to a faster gait, while fear hangs on your back like a warlag, clawing at your courage. But you ride, because the lives of your family ride with you. You ride the black road, because your speed is the difference between life and death. From Riding the Black Road by Mirai Kaliamo Macchiara. She came out of the night like a wraith. One moment there had been only darkness, with 6 of the 9 moons waning, and the wood's sounds quavering like ghosts in the wind. Then a wisp of movement breathed in the trees. Brush snapped. Something large and menacing leaped the barrier bushes. His heart jerked. The next instant, a whirlwind struck the road. He shouted, kicking his riding beast into a charge. From the side of her vision, she caught the dark movement. One fluid, half-rearing motion, and she twisted her 6-legged new mid-rush. Then she spurred the beast back at him. Black hair whipped around her face in a halo of urgent violence. Her dark eyes gleamed with the light of the yellow-white moons. The gray shadow on the ground, the wolf with its yellow eyes, bunched its body to fling itself after the woman. The new thundered straight for him, its 6 hooves frantic with speed. Too fast! By the moon, she would kill them both. He should turn, she should turn. But she didn't slacken her pace. Desperately he leaned out, away from his own riding beast. The dark woman leaned in. Her face, a blur in the night, was hollowed out by shadow. A howling seemed to hit him. Then his arms slapped hers, and their hands dug into each other's musculature. Her body came free of the saddle. She snapped like a rope across the gap of pounding hooves, letting her new race free in the night. Then her body struck him. One leg caught against his new. Her chest hit his ribs. Her weight, slight as it was, nearly lost him his seat, even with his heavy grip on the double pommel. Then her other leg was over, and her body melted against his broad back as she slid into the rhythm of riding, her free arms seeking his waist. "On!" he shouted. "Set!" she shouted back. She was grinning, but beneath the 6 moons that hung in the sky, the expression was feral and sharp. He threw his right leg over the pommel. For a moment, he hung on the saddle and the strength of her arms. Then he hit the road running. Hooves pounded as she picked up speed. The gray wolf flashed beside her. She was gone, and only the scent of her hair and the sweat of her ride remained for him to taste. He walked, limping, after the other new, which had finally stopped on the road. The sides of its bloated, segmented belly heaved with breathlessness, and its eyes rolled in its head. The odor of fear was upon it. There was a dark patch on its flanks, but he couldn't tell what it was. Then the creature shifted nervously out from under the root-rowed trees and into the white, bright moonlight. He stepped closer, and the riding beast grunted its warning, stamping its middle legs. No wonder the Wolfwalker had not simply moved away from him like a relay runner and slowed to let him catch up. She must have been barely able to control the beast, frightened as it was. Had he tried to ride up from behind, the gnu would have panicked into the barrier bushes like a hare from a hungry warlag. He moved again, slowly soothing the creature until he could get his hands on the reins and examine the patch more clearly. The ragged gashes that had bled out on its flanks were deep and dark. He felt their warmth. They were hardly clotted yet, and rubbed his fingers together. The scent of the blood mixed with the beast's sweat, and again he heard the howling. His voice was low as he looked after her. "Ride with the moons, Dion." Manetti heard the hooves of the riding beast first. "Quick now, look sharp!" she snapped at the two youths. She was already half out the door. "Is she here? The healer?" The younger boy's voice was thin with excitement. Manetti didn't bother to nod back over her shoulder. The boy would hear for himself in the next few seconds. "Get the gnu loose and ready. Cully, make sure the reins of the two trailing beasts won't tangle." Hurrying to the woman's side, the tall youth cocked his head. "She's coming in fast. And be glad that she is. It's your uncle who's out on that bench." "I know it, ma'am." He checked the reins of the gnu, then glanced back through the doorway to the table where his second meat roll lay untouched. Another glance up the road told him the rider was not yet in sight. He thrust the reins of the relay gnu at the younger boy and dashed inside, grabbing up the food. There was no napkin to wrap it in. Running back out, he yanked a bandana from his pocket and slapped it around the meat roll. He had time only to thrust the small bundle in the saddlebag before Manetti swung up on the lead gnu and started the other two relay beasts out at a slow trot. Manetti's three gnu, the one she rode and the two relay beasts she led, strung out like a crude chain. Gradually, they picked up their pace. Then, from the road behind them, the incoming rider's shadow separated itself from the night. The Wolfwalker was hunched low over her gnu's neck, rolling with its six-legged gait as if she were part of its muscles, not simply a rider racing the dark. Cully caught his breath as he glimpsed the smaller loping shape, the wolf that sped before Dion as she urged her riding beast to catch up to Manetti. Maybe this time he'd be close enough to catch that yellow gaze. Perhaps this once he'd hear the packsong himself. But the wolf flashed by, and an instant later, Dion pounded past. Involuntarily, Cully stepped out after the racing pair, nearly tripping on the other boy. He steadied his friend and stared after the Wolfwalker. She had caught up with Manetti now, and her switch from one saddle to the next was so smooth in the dark that it took him a moment to realize it was done. Manetti dropped back with the single exhausted gnu, letting the tired animal slow itself. With a flash of steel-white hooves, the extra beast, reined to Dion's new mount, trailed her into the dark. The smaller boy stared after the rider. She didn't even slow down. Cully's voice was superior. She's a Wolfwalker. But he, too, stared down the road. The gray wolf had barely turned its head when it had passed him, but the wet musk said,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?